Hey, Bill Cates here. You know the biggest obstacle in getting referrals from centers of influence? It's your referability. You have to be super referable in the eyes of these folks or they won't send anybody your way. And sometimes we get a little too assumptive and we think we're referable before we really are. Now, the blog post associated with this video talks about that and talks about how my personal financial advisor made sure he was super referable in the eyes of an estate planning attorney. And we can take what he did and extrapolate that to really any kind of relationship. And here are really the key elements or ideas of making sure that you get good, solid, strong referrals and introductions from centers of influence. First of all, understanding who makes a good center of influence for you in your business. Now, Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI, calls them contact spheres. And what he says is that every industry, every business has natural contact spheres, people who are naturally related to your business, people who meet the same kind of people that you want to meet. And even if they never become a client of yours, they become a center of influence, the ability to refer people to you, and not just referrals, right, but introduce people to you. So we have to know that. We have to know how to meet these people. What is the best way to meet these people? Could be networking events, but there's actually a better way. And then how do you become super referable? Got to do that, right? You got to be super referable with these people. And this blog talks about that with showing people your process. Sit them down and say, look, from the minute we meet someone till they become a client and beyond, this is what it looks like. This is how we treat them. This is the process we put them through. This is what they're going to learn, et cetera, so that your process of receiving these referrals is referable and not just the work you do after they become a client. Both of those are very important. Making sure that your center of influence knows how to recognize someone who's a good match for the work you do. And if it's a reciprocal referral relationship, that you recognize someone who's a good match for their business. You could say, if I ran into a good prospect for your business, how would I know it? And how would you like me to introduce them to you? Notice I say also, how would you like me to introduce them to? Because the next step is talking about what the introductions are actually going to look like. You see, it's nice if someone shares our name and our phone number, our email, or website with other people, word of mouth. Nothing wrong with that. That occasionally turns into business. But what we really want is connections, right? We want to have a way to be appropriately proactive for these folks. And so we want to talk about that. What does it take? What do we talk about with them to make sure we get a good connection? What's best for you? What's the best way for you to get connected? Which may not be the best way for them. They may prefer something else. And then the final component in this is, how do you stay in touch around this? How do you set some expectations? And how do you make sure you continue to be referable in their eyes and vice versa? So a lot of different ways, a lot of different moving parts and components to making sure that you get great referrals and great introductions with centers of influence, or again, as Ivan calls them, contact spheres. Hope you found this helpful. And I'm going to leave you with a question. Who are you going to be introduced to today? Thanks for watching.